With YouTube demonetizing independent media, please consider becoming a patron today for just $1 per month. Link below. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and once again, the Crow reboot, well, crashes and burns. And I can't say that I'm sad, to be honest with you. I did enjoy the original 1990s film, but after that, man, it all went to crap, right? Edward Furlong was the Crow. Okay, and people wonder why this stuff keeps crashing and burning. Edward Furlong was the Crow, but this time around it was going to be Jason Momoa, and that's awesome. I love Jason Momoa, and I would actually have gone and seen this. But it seems here that the much maligned Crow reboot has once again encountered some big setbacks. As of this morning, both director Corin Hardy and star Jason Momoa have left the project, which was in production, right? Not pre-production, production, which tells me that they were shooting parts of the movie. Now, Deadline reports that as of this morning, the pair had quietly, yet formally withdrew from the film and surmises the likelihood of creative and financial differences with Samuel Hadid, the main financier of the flick. And that ultimately ends up being the problem in these cases, right? Someone has the rights, someone is paying for it, someone has a vision, that vision clashes with the director that they've brought in, and then they get into fights about it, and these things tend to happen. They're never good. They're never grand, they're never great, but they still tend to happen. Now, it goes on to say this is the second director to leave the project, which has been struggling to get made for the past 5 or 6 years. There's been an upward of 6 actors attached to star, all of which have departed for a variety of reasons. Jason Momoa addressed his exit shortly after the announcement. On Instagram, this is what Momoa said. He says, "I've waited 8 years to play this dream role. I love you at Corin Hardy and at Sony Pictures. Unfortunately, I may have to wait 8 more. Not our team, but I swear I will. James Barr, sorry to let you down. I won't on the next. This film needs to be set free. And to the fans, sorry I can't play anything but what this film deserves and what it needs, and it needs love. I'm ready when it's right. Love you, Corin. Aloha, Jay." So there you go. You've got Jason Momoa coming out and saying like, yeah, you know, I have to leave because I just can't make this movie. It's just not going to be good. He's effectively saying that this movie will bomb if he makes it. And that makes sense. It would make sense. I mean, how many other movies have there been of The Crow? A few. Like I said before, Edward Furlong was one of the Crows. So, I mean, it's not a very high bar to reach to get above Edward Furlong as the Crow, or even Kirsten Dunst, I think, in The Crow 3. But it's not hard to get above that. But apparently this was not going to tell it the right way. And now even Alex Proyas, who directed the original Crow at one point last year, did post a plea to cease and desist on the remake because it reflected, he felt it reflected poorly on his film and on the work done by the late Brandon Lee, who passed away while filming. James Barr, who created the comic, has basically said nothing, and at this point he probably doesn't want to and just can't, because it wouldn't make sense for him to say something here. He wants this movie to get made. He's tied up in the business side of it. He doesn't want to make a stink, probably because he wants to get paid and he wants to see this thing on the big screen. So I totally get that. But when looking at the idea here of how these things fall apart, it does appear that that Corin Hardy and Mamoa were definitely in line with the fact that this movie would not be what it needed to be with them if they were to listen to the financier, basically the exec producer, and what they want. This is one of the biggest problems that comes from exec producers and creatives on these films. Look at Kathleen Kennedy with Colin Trevorrow, as well as Phil Lord and Chris Miller. We've seen these things play out. And when it comes to The Crow, which is kind of a, you know, I mean, it's a smaller project, right? It's a smaller comic. It's a cult thing from the 90s. The first one, the rest can all suck an egg. And we know that there's not a big clamoring for this. So if it takes time to get there, then it takes time to get there. But here's what I recommend. What I recommend is whoever right now can get their hands on the financing guy, the accountant, someone call up Netflix and have Netflix come in and buy up the property, right? Put in the money for it, and then overrule the other guy and give Corin Hardy and Jason Momoa carte blanche to do what they want, and then put it on Netflix. Because as we've seen with like Lock and Key going to Netflix, and Millar World going to Netflix, and Sabrina the Teenage Witch going to Netflix, they are very much in the market for comic books, comic book content that isn't really Marvel or DC. And as a result of that, this is the right time for them to come in when The Crow is wounded and save it from essentially itself, it seems like. And that's my suggestion. That's my take on it. But again, I put it to you. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think there's a way to save the crow? Should it also be just left to die? Let me know. My name, of course, is Matt Jarbo. This has been $3 Theater. If you guys haven't already, please thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel. Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/MundaneMatt, and just watch more content if you're bored. In fact, if you want to do that, you can do that right now.